What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Free to Be, and this is part 3 of now what I've decided is going to be a 4-part series where we talk about 20 things that you should know when you're younger. This is based on an article that I read where a financial advisor who's been doing that for 25 plus years wishes he could go back in time and give 20 pieces of advice to the younger version of himself. And so we're going over those things. We're up through 10 of these items, so we'll be covering a few more today. Let's get started. Alright, now as always guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on those notifications. We cover financial literacy on this channel, and if you're interested in any of that information, you're not going to want to miss the videos. And if you're joining us again, thanks for coming back. Okay, so let's get right into this. We're going to be talking about the next 5 items on this guy's list in this article where he talks about things that he wishes he could tell the 20-year-old version of himself after 25 years of experience in the financial advisor world. Alright, so the next thing on this list is to upgrade your friends. Now, I can kind of agree with this because, look, this much is true. If you're around people who just take all your energy and do not let you grow into your full potential, it's time to get some new friends. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people who are just pushing you to develop, challenging you really to develop yourself and to be the best person you can be, whether that's within your career or personal life. You don't want people who are just going to put you down or who just take your energy from you, don't help you get to where you want to be, and just kind of are like a life suck. You don't want those people around you. You want to upgrade your friends. Be around like-minded people. Be around people who have goals, who have aspirations, who want to do more with their lives, and you'll be in a better position for it. Now, you also don't want to be around the people who have already achieved success. You don't want to have too many of those people in your boat either, because then it might be a situation where you're just beating yourself up because you haven't reached their status. And if you have, a group of friends who have already out there and have achieved stuff and are spending money just, on a whim as they please, that might not be good for you either in terms of your financial goals and success. So after that, the next item on the list is to focus on your health and energy. Guys, this is really important because without your health, whether it's mental health or physical health, you're not going to be able to accomplish any of your goals. You don't want to burn your candle at both ends. You want to make sure you're getting enough rest, make sure you're eating well, make sure you're getting the right exercise that you need to be getting in order to continue pursuing your goals in your life. If you're not physically healthy, if you're not mentally healthy, it's going to impact you in the future and in the short term and in the long term. You're going to want to make sure you focus on that first and foremost. I completely agree with this, and I know I talked about a few things being at the top of this list, but this one should be at the top of the list, no doubt. If you don't have the mental health, if you don't have that physical health in place, everything else is going to fall apart around you. And when you're younger, I know that this is kind of easy to ignore because you have energy. You could sleep for 4 hours after a night of being out and feel like you could conquer the world, but that will catch up to you. So make sure you're working on yourself in all aspects at the same time so that you're putting yourself in the best position for your future. All right, and the next thing is ABC. And no, that's not a Glenn Ross reference to always be closing. This is kind of an always be creating. Always, make sure you're using that creative energy that you might have while you're younger. If you don't, focus on something, kind of pick up some hobbies for that, extra time to be a little bit more creative, whether it's painting, drawing, writing. Try to always make sure you're exercising that creative muscle in your brain so that it can kind of play into other parts of your life as well. If you're creative in one aspect of your life, it will turn into something else, in another aspect. So always be creative, always be creating, think about fun things to do, think about, the arts. Creating is a great thing, so make sure you're always creating is basically what I'm saying. And again, always be creating. You could start a YouTube channel, think about a business, you could start a blog, you know what you could do. Just always be creating. Now the next thing is another thing that I really agree with, and that is to use the other 8 hours in your day wisely. Now, we have 24 hours in any given day. If you were to say that you have to have 8 hours of sleep every night, that leaves you with 16 hours of awake time. If you have a traditional standard job, you are then going to be selling 8 of those awake hours of the 16 available hours to you. You're going to be selling that to your employer. So they're going to be owning the 8 hours that are there, and they're going to be paying you for that 8 hours, which leaves you with a remainder of 8 hours left. So you have 24 hours, 8 hours goes to sleep, 8 hours is being sold to your employer, your other 8 hours. Make sure you're taking advantage of these 8 hours. And a lot of them come after work when you're already drained, but make sure you're doing something that puts those hours to use in the most effective way. Now, I want to caution you with this. You don't want to get into a position where you're selling the 8 hours and then this other 8 hours you're trying to hustle and figure out ways to make money to cover an expense you didn't need, because then you're really wasting these 8 hours. This is all you have. This is where you're going to work on your relationships in life. This is where you're going to be working on your creative energy. This is when you're going to be resting. This 8 hours is all you have left Monday through Friday. You don't want to be wasting it on opportunities where you're going to be making a minimum amount of money to support something you don't need. So for example, if you go buy a car with a car payment that is, $600 a month, when you could only really afford a $350 payment, and you have to supplement that $250 in some other way by maybe driving Uber or whatever it may be in your other 8 hours, that's not a good, allocation of that time. So don't put yourself in a position where any of those hours go to waste, because that's all we have. So focus your energy on optimizing and making that 8 hour chunk of your day the best it can be. So utilize it to the best of its ability. And the next thing is to stand out at work. So the next thing is to stand out at work. And what this means is to put all your energy in doing the best you can do at the job that you have. Look, it's easy to think about passive incomes or other ways to increase your earning potential, but the number one best way to do it is to be a rock star at work. And that may involve taking on tasks that your colleagues might not want to do and working extra hours or putting in a little bit more effort than needed. Because look, ultimately it will pay off, and I know that you might be in a position where your boss might not see it right away, but the people around you will definitely see it, and you will reap the benefits later down the road. Now I know the easier approach is if you've got your job, down packed and you understand how to do it. The safer approach is just to sit around and just continue doing the job and what's expected of you. But long term, guys, that's not a real approach that needs to be taken, because you want to make yourself as valuable, you want to make yourself as versatile as you can to your employer so that they continue to utilize you and challenge you to grow, really, but also ultimately grow your career. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for the third part of this series. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on, and tune in next week when we go over to the last part. I'll go over the last 5 items on this guy's list, so you're not going to want to miss it. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time.